Now we're going to place one of the blocks under our sacrum. So that's the lowest part of the spine right above the tailbone. So this is going to be an assisted bridge pose. We still want our glutes and our hamstrings to be working here. Let's make the chin slightly draw down toward the throat so our neck is in a neutral position. Push down into the feet so legs are awake. We're going to take our left hand over toward the right forearm. Now just picture trying to squeeze some toothpaste from the bottom up. And we'll start near the elbow and just do a little bit of massage here on the right forearm. You can use as much pressure as it feels good, maybe getting all the way up into the wrist. And just notice if this is your dominant hand, does it feel tender here? Does it feel tight? Switch hands. Right hand goes over to the left forearm, maybe up into the wrist. So just taking the time for this little forearm massage is going to be great to counterbalance that grip strength. So that forearm strength we need for our grip. Good, stay here, but now reach that right palm up so the hand is kind of flat, and we'll pull back on the right fingers with the left fingers. Now we're coming into a wrist extension stretch. Make sure you're breathing. Switch hands, left palm up, pull it back. Keep pushing down into the feet. Back of the neck is long, chin is slightly towards your throat. Release your hands. Let's lift off the block. Remove the block for now and just slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. Checking our triple S. So that's feeling the back of our skull, our shoulder blades or our scapula, and our sacrum, right where we were just on the block. So the lowest part of the spine. This is our triple S. Keep that triple S down. Let's pick up the right foot. Maybe the right knee comes over the right hip. Push down into that left foot. Try to lift that left hip up. This is a tiny lift, like a little single leg bridge. And then lower down. Right foot steps down. Keep that triple S touching the ground. Pick up the left foot. Push down into that right foot. Use that right glute and hamstring to lift. Lower with control. We'll keep alternating. So we're just doing this alternating march into a single leg bridge. You can move as slowly as you need to, but really focus on keeping that triple S down. So we're setting up for this movement with a neutral spine. So our neutral spine is when we can feel that triple S in a nice long or straight line. Let's bring the foot down, whatever one was up, and we'll grab the block now and place it in between the knees or the thighs at whatever width feels comfortable between the legs. This is going to help us get into our deep core a little bit more. So give that block a little hug with the legs. We're going to bring the hands behind the head and draw the elbows in like we're trying to touch elbow to elbow. Now keep that low back down. Take a breath in. Exhale, hug the block, lift just off the shoulder blades. This is a tiny lift. Chin is slightly towards your throat, gaze towards your belly button. Even if you can't see it, you know where it is. Inhale to lower. Exhale, hug the block, lift off your shoulder blades, gaze towards your belly button. Keep the low back touching the ground. Inhale and lower. Exhale, lift, hug the block. Feel your belly button try to pull down toward the ground instead of bulging up. Keep gazing towards your belly button. Turn your chest just 1 inch to the right. It's a small turn. Stay off your right shoulder blade. Come back to center. Inhale and lower. Exhale, hug the block, lift up. Feel your belly button try to pull down toward the ground. Keep gazing right at the center. Turn your chest 1 inch to the left. Stay off your left shoulder blade. Come back to center, inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Hug the block. Gaze toward the belly button, turn 1 inch to the right, stay off that right shoulder blade. Come back to center, inhale, lower. Exhale, lift, hug the block. Feel your low back stay on the ground. Gaze toward the belly button, turn 1 inch to the left. Stay off your left shoulder blade. Come back, inhale and lower. Exhale, lift, hug the block. Chin slightly towards your throat. Rotate 1 inch to the right, staying off the right shoulder blade. Now flare your left elbow out wide. Keep hugging the block. Elbow comes back in toward the forehead, back to center. Inhale and lower. Exhale, lift, hug the block. Pull the belly button down, gaze toward the belly button. Rotate 1 inch to the left, staying off that left shoulder. Now try to flare that right elbow out wide. Bring it back in, come back to center. Inhale and lower. Release the hands, release the block. We'll come onto quadruped, so coming onto hands and knees, and we'll use one block here. So quadruped is a table type of pose. Our shoulders are right over the wrist and our hips are over the knees. Take a block and put it right on your sacrum. So again, that's the back of the pelvis, the lowest part of the spine. We'll find our neutral triple S here, so chin is slightly toward the throat. Picture a broom or a golf club behind you. Would it touch the back of your skull, your shoulder blades, and your sacrum? We'll stay on the left hand and pick the right hand up, bringing the right arm into a goal post shape. Now don't leave that triple S of the spine, so notice if you've rounded the back or arched the back, find that neutral. We're gonna pulse our right arm. So like we're trying to lift that right arm up a little bit without anything moving. So we're starting to get into that right shoulder blade or scapula. Scapular mobility is hugely important for golf. Now take that right hand behind the head. Push down into your left hand. Rotate your chest just 1 inch or 2 inches to the right, and then back to where you started. So getting that thoracic rotation, push into the left hand, turn the chest maybe 1 or 2 inches to the right, and bring it down. Try that a couple more times. So the block is here, balancing on the sacrum to help us learn to rotate in the upper back without turning in the lower back. Right hand down. Now recheck that feeling of a broom right behind your back. You can always adjust the block a little bit, make sure it's right on the sacrum. Goal post that left arm. Tiny pulses here. So we're pulsing this left arm, moving that left shoulder blade, but trying not to move anywhere else. And notice if your head's dropped down and we started arching the back or dropping the ribs down, hold strong. Left hand behind the head. Push into your right hand. Turn the chest 1 or 2 inches to the left and chest back down into that neutral position. Push into the right hand to rotate to the left. Try that a couple more times. We're rotating in the mid and upper back. So that's the thoracic spine. Our thoracic spine is the part of the spine that the ribs attach to. Release it down. You can remove the block and we'll come onto our forearms for a forearm quadruped. So similar, but now we're just on forearms. You can have the toes tucked or untucked. Let's again, draw the chin slightly toward the throat, finding that neutral neck. Push into your forearms, spread your shoulder blades apart, and then draw those shoulder blades back in toward the spine. Push into the forearms, spread the shoulder blades apart, and then try to squeeze them back in. So now we're mobilizing the shoulder blades with protraction, spreading apart, and retraction, drawing in, but we're trying not to move the head and neck or the lower back. So this is a great thing to do to work on shoulder stability. We'll come into a quick dolphin pose from here. So staying on the forearms, you can slightly spread those shoulder blades apart. Chin is toward the throat, toes will tuck under. As you exhale, see if you can lift the knees, lift the hips up nice and high, but keep the knees soft. You can walk the feet in as much as you need. So now we're loading the shoulders, working that stability. Lower the knees. Coming into a child's pose, we'll use both blocks. Go ahead and bring your elbows to the blocks and only sit the hips as far back as it feels good for you. Elbows on the blocks. Let's try to get our thumbs to touch toward the back of the head or back of the neck. And then as you come into this position, instead of sinking the chest down toward the ground, I want you to lift your front ribs up, almost like you're trying to lift your armpits up. This is a great way to get into the lats. Check in with your breath. Come out of your child's pose. We're going to make our way to standing at the top of the mat. We'll continue our reset with sun salutation 1. Start standing, check in with that triple S. Picture that broom or golf club behind you. Reach your arms forward and up. Lift the shoulder blades up as you reach the tailbone down. Exhale, hinge. Sit back into the hips, torso toward the thighs. Right foot steps back. Lower the knee and the top of the foot. Lift up into a low lunge or a half kneel. Our right glute is active. We're going to roll one shoulder back at a time. Freeing up some tissue around the shoulder blades. Getting some more movement around the thoracic spine, the upper back. Hands will plant right under the shoulders. Step your left foot back to the right for a plank pose. Find that same triple S here. That broom behind your back. Lower the knees and pause. Exhale, lower down. Think about the tops of the shoulders staying lifted away from the ground. You can tuck or untuck the toes. Tailbone reaches toward the heels. Drag your palms toward the back of the mat to open the chest. That's our thoracic extension, low cobra. Tuck the toes as you exhale. Lift to downward dog. Lift your hip creases up. Let the knees stay soft. Lift the front ribs. Right foot steps through. Lower the left knee and the top of the foot. Low lunge. Firm that left glute. Check in with your triple S. Roll the shoulders back. Couple more rolls here. Make these as big as it feels good. Hands come forward. Left foot steps forward to meet the right. Bent knee forward fold. Reach the arms forward and up. Reach those fingertips up, tailbone down. Exhale, hinge, torso toward the thighs. Left foot steps back. Lower the knee but not the toes. Lift up. Check that alignment. Bring your arms to a goal post. Firm that left glute. Rotate the chest maybe 1 or 2 inches to the right and back to center. So we're just rotating toward our front leg. Make sure that left glute stays nice and firm so you can really stretch the front of the left hip as we add this thoracic rotation. Hands come down right under the shoulders. Plank pose. Align that plank. Find your triple S. Lower the knees. Re-lift the throat. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, drag the palms back. Tailbone toward the heels. Firm the glutes. Tuck the toes. Exhale, lift to downward dog. Soften the knees, lift the armpits up. Left foot steps forward, lower the knee, not the toes. Low lunge, 90-90. Firm that right glute, goalpost the arms. Rotate to the left and back to center. So we're getting that thoracic or upper back rotation and a little bit of that chest opening. Keep your tailbone reaching down. Right glute firm. Hands come forward. Right foot steps forward to meet the left. Bent knee forward fold. Reach the arms forward and up.